I'm Cody Crabb,
I'm Johnny Flores.
and we are the hosts of the Podcast Producer Survival Handbook.
The Podcast Producer Survival Handbook is here to help podcast producers, editors, and audio engineers succeed while freelancing.
Hello again, Johnny. We are joined. We are joined. It's just us.
Yeah, we're joined by each other.
We're joined by the audience, whoever is listening to us. Thank you for taking the time, by the way, for clicking on this show. It's brand new, so we appreciate you listening and reviewing us when you get a chance. That'd be great to help us grow and kind of share some of the stuff that we're talking about here. So I was going to share we usually kind of share like a success story or like something that we have done in the last week or so. So I had this client that I reached out to a couple of weeks ago, or it was several weeks ago, actually. I had a call with them. It seemed to go really good and it was just doing super well. And they were like, yeah, we're not super happy with our current production team. We're looking to kind of make a change. So I was like, sweet, this is perfect. And then I just never heard from him again. And what was even weirder was like, I was like following up with them, but I noticed that they stopped posting episodes. So I was like, did they just stop doing the podcast? Like, what is it? And it was kind of a decently sized company too. Like, this isn't like they just invested in it for a minute and they stopped. Like, this was like an ongoing podcast, like 100+ episodes or something. And so I'm like, okay, well, I need to see what's going on. So, I sent them one more email, I guess. And it turns out what happened was this production company was dragging their feet on these last 3 episodes. And they totally like butchered the time frame and just
the production
made
cycle,
them super. Yeah, and they made them super late and everything. And so they basically, it's a long story, but they didn't reach out to me directly. They reached out to someone else, like a mutual contact. That's how I found them in the first place. But the idea, the whole point is they just didn't get back to me because they were scrambling to try to just make anything work. And I was like, holy cow. And if I hadn't like followed up with that, I might never have known that. And then on top of that, as kind of a piggyback, which I have to thank Johnny. So I don't know if I've told this before, but we were at Podcast Movement and we were talking about rates and just kind of just general, like, hey, how are things going and stuff? How do you feel about everything? And I was like, man, I feel like I need to charge more. And he was kind of encouraging me, like, based on my prices. He's like, you can do better than this. You can charge more, whatever. And so I was like, I'm going to just go nuts with it. Because why not? I've got enough clients right now where I feel okay. I'm going to just go crazy. And so I get this client. I quoted them essentially like 3.5 times more than I usually would have. And they were like, oh, yeah, totally. Like, they didn't even question it for a second. And I was a little bit like, what? Like, you just say yes to that? And so like, it's really hard to, and I'm not going to go into like specific numbers, but it's always harder for you to swallow an amount like that than like, it sounds worse to you than you think is what I'm actually trying to say. So like, it sounds bigger to you and harder to manage. And
I think when your prices aren't where they should be, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Right. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard because you're like, what you don't want is, well, I could have used I don't know if this is the mindset anyway. You go, oh, I wish I could have gotten that client, at my lower rate. Even, I mean, it's lower, but it's money. Like, I could have had more clients and then gotten more money or whatever, but you're really just, we talked about this before. Not everybody can be a client. You can't edit everybody's podcast. So it's important to kind of determine what you think you're worth and then stick with it. And then,
because you will find clients that will see the value. That's another thing too, is you need to demonstrate in your proposal or your outline why things cost that much. You can't just be like, it's $800 an episode. Okay, well, why? Yeah. Why is it $800 an episode? So then you have to, break that down into like what, it costs this much at this rate, and this price point A is everything, price point B is subtracting a few things from that, and C is basically I don't do anything for you or barely do anything. So
like, why are you even hiring me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant, actually, because what you're really doing is giving them one option. And it just doesn't.
You're giving them 3. C is like
right, yeah,
so low. Like why even
do
this? And then it's A or B, and you're hoping for B. A is the
Right.
dream,
And I think
but you want to
that's
land
kind
on
of why I
B.
think it's brilliant though. That's why it's brilliant. It's because what you're saying is here's an estimate, and then here's like, I know that's high, so here's how you can make it cheaper.
Yep.
That's like really all it's
I
just that's
always
really
do
good.
a here's how we can make it cheaper.
Yeah, that's so good. Because I used to be like apologizing for my rates, but that's a way better way to do it. And it's the same result. Like they have an option to make
Yeah.
it cheaper if they want to. So Johnny, did you have anything that you wanted to chat about from this week, or
No,
not so much?
no, just I've got I think this is something that doesn't get talked about a lot, is like I have several proposals out right now, and I'm hoping to just
Ooh.
get one. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's a thing that I don't think is talked about a lot in freelancing. Is, or if you're just, one person doing whatever, is you got to shoot for 10 and hope you get one or two. Like that's the conversion rate. So, um, if you're getting multiple proposals out, that's a good thing. And if you're getting turned down, that's not a bad thing either, because it means
Hmm.
at least they're interested in your work. So don't take a no on a proposal as like a negative. Be thankful. Tell them I appreciate your time. Hopefully we can talk again in the future. Do you mind if I reach out 6 months from now? And I've
Hmm.
never heard no, don't. It's always, yeah,
Hmm.
talk to us again down the road. Yeah.
I like defining the terms. Frankly, I'd just write an email real quick right then and schedule it,
Yeah.
like so I don't forget.
Oh, yep. I
That's
put it on
that's
my
a
calendar. Reach out to so and so on this date
that's a good idea.
with a
That's a good
reminder
idea.
when you reach out to them. Hey, we spoke 6 months ago, or we spoke on this date about a possibility of doing a podcast. I know the fiscal year start. Whatever. I would love to
Yeah.
chat again about it again if you're interested. And it might be you don't get them as a client this time, but it could
Yeah.
be next year you get them as a client. So
Totally. Well, and I like that. I like that you kind of leave the door open. And frankly, this is a good segue here, because one thing that freelancers do, just by the nature of being freelance, is when you work at a 9 to 5, you have a defined amount of work that you can do when you're sitting at your desk, or like when you're actually on the clock or whatever. Even if you're salaried, like once you sign off, you're signed off. And when you're freelance, you can take on infinity projects and work forever,
I would
really.
say, yeah, you are working more because you're trying to chase down leads. You're managing
Of
your
course.
calendar. You're doing
Yeah.
your budgeting.
Well,
You're
yeah, you're all the
you're
departments. You're the
yeah,
marketing
you're
department and the accounting
everything.
department, and yeah. But the real thing is though, it's almost impossible to just go, this is what I need. This is how much time this is going to take me, and it's going to fill my schedule, and it's going to pay me enough, and that's it. You would have to be some kind of genius to and know yourself perfectly and know everything that's going to come your way. Like I don't know anybody that can do that. So what I want to talk about today is the feeling of when stuff starts to creep in on you, when you have way too much to do. This I would say this also tends to happen a lot in the early stages, because I think we've mentioned before, like you're in this cycle of like, well, I'm not getting paid enough, so I need to get more clients instead of necessarily raising my prices. And so you get in this, you're stacking like tons of work together, and you're running out of
I
time.
would say
So
you're also not in a pattern of running your business. Like I don't do recordings every day. I try to schedule recordings around 1 or 2 days, and then I do editing on another 2 days,
that's a good
and then my
idea.
Friday is sort of like I do my QuickBooks, I update my banking, all that stuff, and it's more of like a casual Friday kind of thing where I'm like, I just have a few things to do, and I can then mess around the rest of the day.
That sounds amazing. Well, and see, this is that sounds good to me, because I work way too much. I'm really guilty of this, because I think I'm now starting to enter my I'm comfortable with my pricing phase,
Yeah,
and it's been a long time. But I've been doing this for years now. I've been full time freelance for years, and something that has I've always struggled with is knowing when to quit, knowing when to scale back, or not even scale back, just to when to stop scaling up, because by its like we've said, by its very nature, you're reaching out a lot to new people, and you may not hear from them right away. Like it's hard to know when to stop, when your what your limit is really.
Or as we
So
were
what?
gonna say,
Oh, go ahead.
how to avoid burning out.
Yes, and that succinctly, that is basically what we're
Yeah.
talking about today. So how would you define burnout? If you were going to define it for somebody, what would you say in our context?
I would say it's um, feeling constant pressure, like you're under the gun and anxious, like it's pressure and anxiety at the same time,
Hmm.
is a clear sign that you're probably burning yourself out and overworking yourself.
Yeah, and I think the word constant is a big one there
Yeah.
because everybody that's working freelance has stressful times. You have a bunch of deadlines hit all at once. You have a project that didn't work and you have to scramble to get it done. Like that's fine and normal. That happens to everybody. But I think when you start to get burned out is when you don't get relief from those.
Yeah.
So
Oh
like
yeah.
you
Good
have
point.
lots of those in a row. So like you are just constantly on tight deadlines. And so um what I want to talk about today is kind of so work-life balance. So how do you kind of establish work-life balance, but also kind of how can you avoid getting to the point where you're burned out in the first place? And one thing I wanted to bring up is, and I'm particularly good at this now. This is one thing that I'm actually decent at is kind of setting boundaries between like when you're working and when you're not. When you're freelance, you're not in an office, you don't have coworkers, you don't have a schedule, you are just doing stuff when you're doing it. And so it can be really tricky to be like, what is my actual work time?
Yeah.
Um, and you have to define your own schedule, obviously. But it also is like, well, when do you stop? Do you stop when you're done? Do you stop at a certain time and just try to finish it later and stuff? And like me, I have ADHD. It's really hard for me sometimes to just put down something because then I have to spend all this massive effort to get back into
Yeah.
it when I could just spend another half an hour or an hour just finishing it up real fast and then it's just done. So what are some strategies you have? You can go first and then I'll kind of share some of mine. What are some strategies you have to draw that line
Sure.
between work and the rest of your life?
One thing so little backstory, when I first started full time running my business, I was burning myself out. I would start work when my girlfriend left for work. I would go out and walk the dogs, and then I'd come back and start working. And then I would usually work through lunch. I wouldn't even eat. Maybe I'd get up and like eat an apple or something like that, and then come back and immediately start working. And then I would continue to work after my girlfriend got home. And then all of a sudden it'd be like, hey, I'm going to bed. I'm like, okay. And I'd look and it'd be 10 p.m. I'd be like, oh, crap. So,
Yeah, I've been in that position many times,
yeah.
many times.
But really, I think is also to make it worth your time to do this stuff is set yourself at like an hour, like a work day. I'm going to start at this time and I'm going to finish at this time. I start my work day at 10 and I wrap it up around 5:30. And once in a while I'll work past that, but I consider that overtime now. I'm now in an overtime because I'm having to work
Gotcha.
late or something like that because something happened. That was like this just recently. My website was down for 5 days, almost
Mm,
almost 7. And I was on the phone with GoDaddy for days trying to get this issue resolved. And it just impacted the rest of my work after that. And then this week, um, basically Monday through Wednesday night, I was editing and recording with my clients, just stacked one after the other, one after the other. So I was feeling a little pressure and a little like, oh, this is not fun right now. My job, what is normally fun for me, this is not fun. This is one of these times it is not fun.
and that's always going to happen. I mean, no job can be
Correct.
perfect
Yeah.
because it's a job. The reason that you get paid for it is because you have skills and you have to spend your time doing
Yep.
it. And it's even if you love it, it can get stressful and deadlines can happen. So,
Yeah, but
I think
I set a work day for myself.
yeah,
I
that is
start at
really
this
smart.
time and I end at this time. And
See,
having
yeah, mine's more fluid than that.
oh
Like
yeah.
I don't have like beginning and end times, but I do have more like kind of windows where I'm like try to finish in this window.
I see.
So I'm an early bird as much as I hate it. I don't love it. I just am. Like it's just I'm awake and that's whatever. So I'm usually at my desk around 7:30
Yeah, good for
in the
you,
morning.
man.
So, but it's not like it's again. It's not like I'm doing anything. I'm just like, hey, body's awake. Okay, let's go. Let's move. So, no, but and I think that's another thing that's important about being freelance. It's important to recognize too that this is like the number one benefit that we get from being freelance, like being able to decide yourself. So decide how you want to do this. Like if you've got a significant other and they've got a weird schedule, work when they work.
That's what
And
I
then
do.
you've got, yeah, exactly. If you have some weird preference to work like super late at night and then just have the whole day off, like do that. Like do whatever works best for you, but define it. Try to have like a defined thing. Like you said, I haven't actually done this, but you mentioned um you're like doing certain tasks on certain days. That seems like that would really help me focus. So I think that I might actually try to do that.
Yeah, it it
Um
it helped. I used to just randomly do stuff, and it would take me so much. My work week would be so much more scattered and just like all over the place, and it was not cohesive to like
yeah.
setting myself up to give myself time off. So that's when I started, okay, I'm going to pick, these are the 2 days that I record with my clients, with exceptions, like if someone can't record that day, the guest is only, I'm only available on this date. Cool.
Yeah.
I kind of leave myself, like you were saying, windows. I have windows for like, okay, if I need to record, I could do that on Thursday between this time and this time. I typically leave the middle of the day open for stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then Wednesdays and Thursdays in the morning, I'm doing my editing. Um, and then in the late after lunch, basically, I do the same thing. And then that's another thing. I give myself time off in the middle of the day to do whatever. I could go eat lunch. I could go walk around if I want to goof off or whatever. Go water my backyard. I'll go out and water our garden and a couple of the trees that we have that aren't drought tolerant, and uh and then I come back in and I'll finish working, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's something I need to get better at as well. But your brain, like something that the freelance mindset is like, I'll put all the hours in and then I'll get all the money for all the hours. But that's not really how it works. Like productivity doesn't work that way. You would be probably better off like having a whole hour of a break in a day and just letting your brain
Yeah.
rest, like honestly. So, and that's something I'm still trying to get better
It's
at. The self-care part of it is so hard for me while I'm working, and
yeah,
I've done some steps to kind of to help with that. Like I've got a standing desk now, which means I can kind of I can at least kind of stretch my legs a little bit while I'm working and things like that.
stretch
So
those hip flexors.
it's actually, I know, I honestly would have never thought it made the difference it did, but it's
It
actually been
does,
really
yeah.
good. And I was gonna say too, as far as my tips
Yeah.
is, I have like a lot of automated stuff that is like it kind of does the work for me because I'm not so good at, if I get a Slack message, I tend to just kind of reply to it. So I'll set hours. I'll set like the snooze things in my email inbox and in my Slack stuff. And my clients know that if there's an emergency between like nighttime hours and morning hours, they need to text me directly. But that's like the emergency one. Like you need something urgently, something's wrong with the episode, something like that. That's how you get a hold of me. Otherwise, if it's just a normal thing, set it in Slack, but I won't get it until work time next time. And that's been and Calendly too, where Calendly will like someone has to schedule a meeting with me at least 24 hours in advance. They can't do it if I have something else scheduled. I have certain hours that you have to do it, and I can make an exception if someone's like, I really can't make any of these times work, but it makes it so I don't have to think about it. Like it just does the work for me. That way I don't have to like set these
Yeah,
boundaries over and over and
Calendly
over.
is great. It is worth the investment and
I don't
getting.
even use, I actually just use the free version,
Yeah.
honestly. I haven't had a need to upgrade, but it's so good that it's one of those where I'm like, could I upgrade? Like it's actually that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think using little tools like that is really helpful because if you're the kind of person that will just be like, I need to work because I'm thinking about it, then that kind of forces you to kind of switch
and
off a little
and
bit.
structuring your day or your week, I think, helps too. um what about time off? Like how do you
Oh man.
process and like give yourself the okay to say I need to take time off?
Well, what I usually do, and I wouldn't recommend doing this, but this is my current strategy, which is I just work until I pass out, and then I'm like, oh, I must need some time off. But really, like I think this is something I'm still working on because again, I'm transitioning into like I'm comfortable with my prices range, which the side effect of that is I have too many clients. So having the same amount of money but less clients would be just amazing for me. That's what I'm working toward right now. But having that, having said that, I'm not super good about taking time like regular like days off like during the week as much. I do it obviously, but like I'm not as good about doing it. But I am good about like if I have a big thing coming up, like I know that a week is going to be crazy or something, I try to like take a little vacation time off, like have a couple of days where I'm just completely sign out. And that's really good. One of the best things about working on podcasts is we have a regular schedule. Like everything is regular. We know when things are coming. Usually your clients record at the same time. They send you the files at the same time. Like things get into a routine and you can kind of go, okay, between Tuesday and Thursday, there's usually a little bit of a lull where I don't have as much to work on or things get slow or, and scheduling your time off strategically is actually super helpful if you are really busy because that way you kind of you're not using those days as much anyway maybe, so maybe you do want to work on a Saturday and take Wednesdays and Thursdays off, and that way you've got your
Yeah. Yeah, two thoughts on that. One is like because I manage the recording sessions and all that stuff for my clients, I know exactly what's coming. It's a little I think I have a little easier on that end than you do because I'm not at the mercy of them sending me stuff. It's like I'm managing your production, so we've got to record on this day. Another thing too is like I think is so crucial to taking time off and giving yourself time off is communication. Communication with your clients is so important. So I always tell my clients because my girlfriend works in education, so she gets the summers off. So we tend to do much more traveling during the summer than we do throughout the rest of the year. So I'd let my clients know a good month in advance. Hey, these are the days I will not be available. I'm going to take this week off and this week off and this week off. So we need to double up production ahead of me leaving so that we have plenty. Well, also so I'm getting paid, but like we're gonna record. We need to record 2 episodes or 3 episodes the week before I leave, so that there's one coming out while I'm gone, and then we already have one set up for when I'm back. We're not
mm-hmm.
skipping those 2 sessions. So um, that's a really important part of giving yourself time off is communicating that with your clients well in advance and then
Yeah,
reminding
the
them
more the
again.
more advanced that you give people, they just don't care.
Yeah,
Like
they're
it's
like,
just
cool,
not a big
great.
deal to
Tell
them.
me what I need
Yeah,
to do. And
exactly. They're more worried about what their job
yeah.
is than you not being there.
So
So
yeah, the communication is a really important part
definitely.
of giving yourself time off. Um, Now I do get a little bit more stressed out before I take time off because I have a lot more work to do to make up for that time. So
Do you do a lot of like outsourcing? Because
no,
when I hit times like that where I have to like redo like do a bunch of stuff at once, every once in a while I'll outsource a little bit just to make sure that I'm like kind of staying on track.
no, because I don't
But
have. In all honesty, I only work with about 3 to 5 clients at a time. So I
that's
don't.
freaking wild to
Yeah,
me,
so
man.
I can. I don't really need to hand out work. The,
So when you're saying stressed out, you're like, whoa, 24-hour week this week. Holy
Yeah.
cow. Oh my
Basically, hey,
gosh.
I'm living the life. I'm not even gonna lie about
That
that
is
stuff. Like,
that is truly like I've said this before. Like the whole reason I'm doing this is because I was just tired of doing things the way other people said that they should be done,
yeah,
really. And like for me, getting a raise is less about getting more money and more about like, oh sweet, I can like do less work.
yeah. That's
Like I don't have to work as
the
much.
Strokes have a great line is I'm working so I don't have to try so hard. And
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
that's how I like to do things. I'm like,
yeah.
if I need to move stuff around and work on my house for 3 or 4 days, I can do that. Like you were saying, like if I want to bake in, like, okay, I'm gonna have this time off, then I'll just do. I'll spend one day. I'll edit all day. I won't even mess around with anything else. I'll just edit, 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 and then that kind of bakes in me having a little more room later in the week where I'm like, okay, I've got Saturday and Sunday, and I'm gonna do Thursday and Friday. I'm gonna work on my house. I'm gonna take that time off where my girlfriend and I want to travel, and I make it so that I don't work while I'm gone. I might answer an occasional email from a client, especially a client that I've worked with for a long time, real quick. Hey, sorry, I'm on vacation, but here's what you need, so that they
Yeah.
know. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to bother you again. Maybe they forgot. I don't care. Whatever. They're not doing it
Yeah.
intentionally, but um, so yeah, just uh, work so you don't have to try so hard.
Well, and the other thing too, and this is something you just brought up, is something I was always like, oh, like I kind of did this the wrong way, where I'm in my head I was like, oh, well, I can work from anywhere and however I want, so I should do stuff like, get a little work done on vacation, and then I can do a little bit. But it really does make a difference when you completely
You need to.
unplug.
That's
It makes a big difference,
yeah,
and you think it doesn't because you go like your brain is just on all the time when you're doing stuff like this, because you're like I don't know, you're just kind of constantly
yeah.
scanning and like
It's
thinking, and you're managing stuff for other people,
it's your
and so you
little
just
topachi or whatever those things were called, the little egg thing that you had to
Topachi.
what
It's Tamagotchi, my friend.
Tamagotchi. Man, I was in my 20s when those things were out. Uh, you're constantly trying to keep your little egg alive, you know.
Oh man, that is such a good analogy, because you're just like, it is like, but the thing that you're keeping alive is like your career.
Yeah. But yeah,
That's
it's
just
you
so good.
need to take time off. You need to give yourself time off. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're just constantly scrambling and fighting and worrying. And my girlfriend was very, very. Her dad was a freelance. He worked in audio, TV, and radio production for most of his life, and I think she learned from him. When I started doing this, she was like, "You got to take time off," and I was like, "All right," and I didn't, and I was at first because I just loved it. I just loved doing this stuff. I do
Well,
still.
not only that, you mean to. Like, that's the other problem, is that you go, I will totally take time off, and then
You
as
don't.
you get close to it, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I
So
can, and
yeah, give yourself time off. You will be. Your business will be better for it. Your mental health will be better for it. Your relationships will be better for it. Your client
absolutely.
relationships will be better for it. You're not going to get that sense of like animosity. We've talked about this in past episodes where you're like, you start getting animosity towards your clients. Because you're not taking time off. You're not taking care of yourself. This is really about taking care of yourself. So
It is,
give
yeah.
yourself
Well,
permission to do that.
and truly, the science is in. Like, if you sleep more
Yeah.
and you take breaks, and you are as productive as you would be without doing that at all.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
You're just going to get the same amount of work done and get exhausted.
And
Listen, I'm talking to myself right now.
yeah.
I'm so
Also, as you've said, you're not clocking in. You don't have a boss watching over
yeah.
you. As long as you get your work done, your clients don't care. They don't
They don't
care.
even
Just get
know.
it done.
It's not even that they don't care. They have no idea.
Yeah.
It gets done. It gets done. They just don't even.
That's what I
see
mean
it.
by they don't care. They
Yeah.
care. All they care about is the end result. Did you get me my
Yeah.
episode? Is it on time? And does it sound good?
Yeah.
And did our production move forward without a hiccup? That's all they care about.
Exactly.
If it takes you 30 minutes to get work done or 2 hours to get the same thing done, they don't care. They're just like, give me my stuff so I can make sure I can justify paying you.
Well, and just as a quick footnote too, I mean, we talk a lot about pricing, but it really is the key to everything, because like you said, I mean, that's the difference between having 10 clients and like 5 clients.
Yeah.
and doing the same amount of work for for twice the money.
Yeah.
or half the work for the same
Well,
amount
that's
of money.
why at one of the podcast movements, when you told me how many clients you had back then, I was like, what? I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, because you just build stuff up, and you build stuff up because you're just trying to rack up as much as you need to live. But it's unsustainable. And so I just want to tack on too, like, when you sign on to a 9 to 5 job, part of your compensation package is like days off,
Sick
like
time, vacation time. Yeah.
yeah, you get paid for that in your compensation pack. Your total compensation, HR has a number in their books that includes everything, like your insurance and all that stuff. And that's the number that we need to charge, not whatever we think we should, get paid by the hour. It's higher than you think because of that. You need to take into account, you deserve this to pay yourself in days off. That's part of having a job, is you need to get time off, because, and it's tempting when you're still trying to make it and you're behind and stuff, but you will do more work in less time if you take time off. Again, I'm a hypocrite. I'm the worst at this. So just keep in mind, like, I would know, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
when I do it, I know that it works.
And I used to be there, and I'm not anymore. So,
because you're better than me. So.
I'm more experienced. I'm not better than you.
Is that what you want to call being old? Because you can. That's fine with me if you want to do that. But.
I am old.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
I need to go hug my kids now because I got all introspective now, and but really, and nobody wishes they worked more. So just remember that. Everyone wishes they worked a little less and spent more time with family and friends and did stuff they wanted to do. So just keep that in mind. Freelancing is to give you freedom, not to do the opposite. So remember that.
Yeah. Well, where can people follow you, or if they want to do that?
Yeah.
Cody?
So you can find me on my YouTube channel, Cody Crab Edits. I post Descript and podcast production stuff, sometimes stuff about other podcasty things. And then my website is codycrab.com. You can get in touch with me there if you want to. And Johnny, what about yourself?
I don't do much on social media, but you can, if you want to go to my website, it's florespodcastproductions.com. And then if you want to email us, if you have questions you want to ask us, tips, suggestions, you need help with something, shoot us an email at podcastsurvival@gmail.com. And thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
Send us a recording. Maybe we'll end up using you on the podcast.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Bye, everybody.